like that first year for me was really, really hard. I moved here and I left my kids behind. So I was here for about 3 months without my kids. And I didn't know where money was going to come from. I didn't know when my meals were going to come. I didn't know. But I knew that I was going to fight. And the first week I moved here, I'm like, Lord, did I make the wrong decision? Jesus, do I need to move back? I was ready to put my stuff back on the truck and move back to Mobile. But I'm a fighter. So I stayed.
Mhm.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Elevated Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Harris, aka John.
And I'm his co-host, Quilanda, aka Q, and we are excited to have you guys back for another episode today. We have a beautiful, beautiful Nubian queen joining John and I today. We are so excited to have this young lady on. So before we get started, I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about her. Just a disclaimer, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, if you're looking to launch a new business in the entertainment industry, if you're looking to launch a health and beauty line, if you're an aspiring actress, this is going to be a great episode for you because our special guest today is going to be dropping some gems. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we have Miss Mahogany Raspberry on the show with us. Welcome to the show, Mahogany.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. So just to let you guys know, Mahogany is a born native of Mobile, Alabama. So shout out to the Southeast. We've had all the Southern birds in the building this week.
Country City girl, yes. Country City girl.
She began performing in her youth at local talent shows. By the time she was in college, she had become a well-rounded talent. And then she soon realized that she was a big fish in a little pond. So she toured for 2.5 years in the blues market. And then she decided to make the move to Atlanta, Georgia. And this is where she was able to find her niche. So she jumped headfirst into the modeling world, and she got bit by the acting bug, which happens a lot, as we know, when people move to Atlanta, the Black Mecca of the South.
Yes.
Yep. And so she just jumped headfirst into the modeling world, acting. And she's been in stage plays, web series. For those of you who've watched The Single Life, and no, John and I are not biased. We're not only having Single Life cast on, but their family, She played Nikki, who is one of the leading roles in The Single Life, both seasons. She also had her own radio show for 4 years, which is a very long time, called Miss Mo's Intimacy Box. And she had a panel of 4 ladies along with, it was her and 3 other ladies. And they just basically had intimate conversations about life and things that went on during the year. And as the acting side of things began to grow for her, she knew that she had to make a decision basically between radio and TV. And so she made that decision, which we're proud she made the decision to, further pursue her acting.
Most definitely.
And she's somebody who loves to set daily goals. And on top of all of that, one of the things that we're really excited to talk about with her today, she's recently launched or relaunched her entertainment company, which is MR22 Entertainment. So she's going to tell us more about that. And, that was a mouthful, but, just so you guys know, you're going to be in for a treat today. So with all of that being said, we are going to give the floor to Miss Mahogany. So Mahogany, we just want to open the floor for you. I know I kind of read through your extensive bio, but we're going to let you tell us in your own words a little bit about yourself, how you got your start, some of your passions, and just your journey to how you got to, where you are today.
My journey was extremely rough, and it's still a journey in itself. I'm a person who's hands-on, and I learn by experience, trial and error. But I literally just got up one day and I was like, I'm leaving. And everybody was like, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I was like, okay, my birthday is February 23rd. After that, I'm leaving. And I
you mean leaving
everything
Alabama?
That I had. Alabama, yes,
Yep.
Mobile, Alabama. I packed up everything I had, what little money I had saved up, and I left. I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what my next move was going to be. I just knew it was moving to Atlanta. And got here. I was here about 2 weeks. So I found my home in 2 weeks of me being here and got hired on 2 jobs in 2 months. So that's why two is my angel number. Everything happens to
Mm.
me in twos. I have two biological children, one, three total, but one is my oldest is adopted. But two is my angel number. I end up finding that out later. But I've been here since 2008. My daughter wanted to do the whole modeling thing, and I'm like, girl, I kind of hung that up. You could have it, but she's like, you gotta go with me. Went with her to a celebrity audition, and I made the cut. She did it, but she
Wow.
stayed supportive
Oh,
to it.
wow.
She was very supportive to it, and from that, everything just kind of like just kind of took off.
Mm-hmm.
And they all kind of work hand in hand. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, but when you're walking that runway, you're acting.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So it all
Mm-hmm.
kind of works together, and it just kind of went from there. And believe it or not, I'm extremely shy. I'm extremely shy.
You know what? I could
Even with
believe that. I could believe that because a lot of successful actors and performers, I mean, Beyonce's even said that she's shy.
yeah.
A lot of actors, I think like Sanaa Lathan at one point said that she was shy and had to get out of that shyness, But it's cool because you kind of get to wear that other persona.
And that's what I
Yeah.
get to be somebody else, and I do like to act, so I get to be somebody else, although I'm being me.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of pushed me was I was 3 months pregnant with my son, and because you said in my bio, I did do music for a while. So I was 3 months pregnant with my son, my very first time being in a recording studio, and met this producer Shuby from Mobile, and it took him forever to get a note out of me. So what made me sing was he looked at me and he said, "You know what? 3 hours in, he's
Oh,
like,
wow.
right." He's like, "You really need to do something for me," he said, "because you may not have what it takes to be in this industry." And I took that as an insult because I knew I had many talents. So from that day forth, instead of me waiting on my nerves to calm down or waiting on me to build it up, I just jumped, and he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't shut me up.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And that's it actually reminds me of, did you watch Tamar Braxton's reality show? She had Get Your Life.
Some of it.
So okay, because there was the
I try
episode.
I not to cut you off, but I try not to
Mhm.
watch too much of people's stuff because in acting you tend to pick up habits. So I try
Mm.
not to watch a lot of other people. If I watch something, I try to watch myself to critique and learn and make me better.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You're
Yes.
right. You're right. But you no, you just reminded me. So there was an episode, and I liked the show until it kind of just went downhill with all the drama. But it was good to see because everybody's rooting for Tamar to come back because she's talented. And there was an episode where she had the producers, the keyboardists and musicians at her house to record a
Hmm.
song, and she was just she doesn't like to sing in front of people. And she said that she was
Mm,
like at the studio whenever she's recording music, she cannot sing in front of people. And you think, okay, Tamar Braxton, what do you mean you can't sing in front of people? And they wasted like almost 12 hours before she could
yeah,
finally sing. So
I
it's
can
it's
believe it.
it's real. It's real. John, were you gonna say something? I don't want to cut you off.
Well, I just want to ask you a question. What pushed you to move here to Alabama? How was it growing up in Mobile, Alabama, in reference to living in Atlanta currently?
Growing up was a lot different for me. My father was not a part of my life. All I had was my mom, and my mom had me at a very young age. My mom was 16 when she had me, and my grandmother decided to leave my mom with my sister and myself at the age of 17 at this time, in the house by herself, and she moved out. And she moved in, who's now her ex-husband, but she moved in with her husband at the time, and she left my mom. So my mom, all she knew was that she had to provide for us,
Mm.
so I learned a lot from my mother, working as hard as she does and grinding as hard as she does. And my mom's never experienced a prom or winter form or anything like that. All she knew was she had
Wow.
to, she had to drop out of school and take care of us.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
life was a little different. I had to grow up fast because I had to take care of my sister. I had to grow up
Mm.
Okay.
fast because my mom was always at work.
Yeah.
And I
Uh,
wanted my kids to know that there was more to the world than just little bitty Mobile. And that's why I left. Atlanta,
Mhm.
as you said, is like the mecca for everything and anything that you want to do in life. You just have to be able to decipher between the good and bad that is here,
mhm.
and just kind of find your path and go with it.
Okay. How many siblings do you have as far as sisters and brothers and stuff?
I have two with my mom, and I have eight with my father. I'm the middle of nine with my
Woo.
father.
Okay.
I do now. I learned at the age of 21. I started to. Um, my dad came and apologized and brought some things to surface, without
Okay.
Mhm.
shining any dark light on him. And
Mhm.
at that age, I was already 21 with two kids, and I was just like, kind of don't need a father now, but
Yeah, I
you
Mhm.
can be
understand.
the best grandfather that you can to your grandkids, and that's it. But he calls me every single holiday, birthdays, you name it, and now he's got an iPhone, Jesus, and he wants to FaceTime every 2 seconds and stuff. So I
Hmm.
do have a
Oh.
relationship with him, and I'm not somebody who holds grudges. I try to live in the now, not the
Mhm.
then, you know. And so I just all I could do is one day at a time.
Yeah. And
But I
that's your
wanted to move to Atlanta and tell my kids that, there's more than just Mobile
there's
where I live.
more. And you know what, Mahogany, that's so beautiful because, and we were talking about this in another episode about how being uncomfortable will kind of spearhead you into success, and
Yes,
sometimes, those of us who have those stories that aren't always the fairy tale stories and upbringings, we have the most beautiful stories to tell,
mine
you know.
definitely is not. It's definitely not fairy tale. If I told you some things, you'd be like, where did this you? So
Right. But that brings so much depth to you and to your character, and not character like acting, but just your character as a person. But
As a
then
person.
also, yeah, to you and your profession as an actress, you get to draw on all of those life experiences, all of
yes,
those emotions, everything that you've been through, because
yes.
and I know John's probably gonna get me because I'm always kind of jumping to the single life, but what just came to
It's
mind
okay. It's
was
okay. I love that. That was my baby. That was like my breakthrough right there for Atlanta. So
oh,
thank
oh,
y'all.
good. And you know what? And I still remember that I say this about everybody, but the ones obviously of you guys that got casted, when you walk into the room and like you kind of know, like, oh, us as producers, we know, and directors, we know, oh, that's it, she's it. But I just think about the scene in season 2 when you and Raven are in the bathroom and you're kind of having that sisterly heart to heart. And even, when I go back and watch the show, that scene gets me every time. And I'm just like, man, this is so good. Just, and for those of you who have not seen it yet, make sorry y'all, my internet's acting up. Make sure you check out The Single Life. But it's basically a moment where her younger sister, goes through some guy drama like we do. And her Mahogany played her older sister. Lord Jesus, what was your name?
Nikki,
Nikki.
I was Miss Nikki
Nikki.
because I
Okay.
remember I
Hmm.
was in love with Nikki. I was in love.
Yes.
I still have the shirt that has Miss Nikki on it from when we played at
The
ball that day.
kickball
I still have the
game.
shirt.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But just that scene, like that was an example where you got to kind of really, go in depth and give her that heart to heart. And that was a real moment, and I think
it
that's
was
what
it was
acting
very
is.
real for me. It was very
Mhm.
real for me being that growing up, because like I said, I didn't learn that I had, all these other sisters and brothers until I was about 26 years old.
Wow.
And all I knew of was the one sister and brother that I had by my mom.
Mhm.
So and my sister by my mom growing up, she hated me. My sister hated me. And I had an adopted aunt who's about 2 years older than me. She hated me. I was the bright skinned one with the long
Um,
hair and so and my
mhm.
sister is she's overweight but she's beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful. And my adopted aunt, she's very, very dark complected, but beautiful. They have there's Vietnamese in my bloodline. So they kind of have that Asian chinky thing going on.
Mhm.
So, but growing up, like I said, they hated me. They would give away my clothes and shoes. I wasn't allowed to hang out with them and their friends. They literally hated me. So
Wow.
I never really had that sisterly bond. Nikki allowed me to tap into that.
Wow.
Wow.
All
Oh
right,
man.
look at you. Go ahead, Q.
I know, like as a writer, I'm just like, oh, because
Yeah.
I do have like that relationship with my sister. And I think pretty much all of us in the Black family, we have the sets of siblings. You have the siblings on your mom's side, on your dad's side. And the way we grow up, we don't refer to each other as half siblings. It's just my brothers and my sisters. I may just have
Right.
dad with them or whatever. But I think as a writer, that's what you want. You want to write something meaningful. So not only for the people that are portraying it as the actors, but also to reach the audience. So because you were able to tap into that character and make her your own, you now are like exuding that energy to the people that are watching it, you know? So that's it's just such a beautiful thing. Okay, John, we
And I have to be give away a little bit here. When I did the casting for you guys, you know, you guys had the screen up where we weren't able to see other people.
Yeah.
But where my seat was, I was able to see everything. So I was like,
she was peeking behind the curtain.
okay, I know I'm not gonna do that. So I'm like peeping the whole time. So I knew exactly what to do to land my role. I knew exactly what to do. So I was so grateful when I got it. I was like, I got the part, you know. So yeah.
Oh man,
That was beautiful.
that is.
So speaking of back moving to Atlanta, what year did you move to Atlanta? Because I know we did the same.
2008.
Okay, so you moved right before we did the Single Life, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I may
Okay.
have been here about a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And how was when you first got here? How was that? Because you know we and we actually had Darrell on the show. You know the guy who played Dominique.
Yes.
Darrell Lyons.
Yes.
And we were just talking about the actor's journey in general and auditioning, and you know, like he was making a really good point about how a lot of actors branch off into producing to create their own roles and create their own opportunities. So when you first moved to Atlanta, how was that process as an actor, just like getting yourself out there and like knowing about auditions and just the audition process period? What did you find it a little
Well,
difficult?
I didn't know I was going to be acting at all. I moved here initially for my music, and it just kind of twisted into something else. And like that first year for me was really, really hard. I moved here and I left my kids behind, so I was here for about 3 months without my kids, and I didn't know where money was going to come from. I didn't know when my meals were going to come. I didn't know, but I knew that I was going to fight. And the first week I moved here, I'm like, Lord, did I make the wrong decision? Jesus, do I need to move back? I was ready to put my stuff back on the truck and move back to Mobile, but I'm a fighter, so I stayed. And it was a journey with my kids adjusting to being here. It was a journey with me not knowing nobody, not having any family, not knowing how to get around. Not know it was literally starting over with
Wow.
everything. So it was hard for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot right there.
Ooh, Jesus, hell, who you telling?
One of the questions I want to ask, you know, of course, I know you personally as well, but for the audience out there, doing so many things and doing so much creatively, like what is your favorite out of everything you do? Like I know, you know what I'm saying, you have a passion in music, you have a passion in acting, you've done theatrical, like stage plays, you've done, you know, done a lot of things. What is your favorite thing to do creatively out of everything you do?
Oh, that's a hard one. Because I like everything, but I think that it would have to be more so acting because and I would have to say stage. Although stage is more work, it's raw and right then. You can't rewind. You can't um punch in a line. You
You
can't
can't.
pause and go back. Let me run that from the top. It's right then. So you have to, you know, they always say when it comes to characters, don't second guess yourself. Make your decision and you go on it. And you have to literally instantly make that decision and roll with it when you're on stage. It's raw and in person. Your bloopers, you gotta be able to improv right on it to keep things moving. You can't have dead air. If you lose your line or your castmate loses a line, you have to be able to be on top of your improv to bring them back in and throw a word out that's gonna trigger them to say, oh yeah, that's that line. And you have to be able to hold your face, hold your character, and keep that scene moving. So I would have to say it'd have to be live. Yeah.
Okay, because it's no dead space. You can't like wait. Like okay, it's no cut.
Yeah.
And
I never forget on one particular play, it was In-Laws from Hell. And nobody did what they were supposed to do in this particular scene. And everybody walked off the stage. It wasn't time for them to walk off yet. Everybody
Oh,
walked off the
wow.
stage and left me on the stage. I had to play the heck out that scene. You hear me? I was improvising my butt off. But listen, but I made it work
Wow.
though. I made it
Hmm.
work and the audience was laughing. The audience was rolling with it. They didn't know anything. And when I got behind the curtain, I was like, come on, kill y'all. Like y'all
Yeah.
left me. But I made it work. I made it work.
And I was going to say, to me, that's one of the best parts, the best things about being working on stage, the stage doing theatrical productions is
Yes.
the audience, because you get to feel off that energy. Even though I do focus more so like on screen and film, I've done some producing and assistant directing in theater with Cassandra Powell. And it's a lot. Like you said, you
It
have
is.
to,
Yeah.
that separates the actors, from just people who just, I don't even know what they're doing, like the
Yeah.
true, because like you said,
Like
you're tapping
this.
into improv, you're tapping into energy, because if you're on stage and the audience isn't laughing at any of the jokes, if the jokes aren't hitting, you still got to stay in it. Like John said, you can't have that dead air, that dead space, because
Nah,
it's
no
just,
deal.
it's
No.
going to be awkward
And
in the whole
that's the
auditorium.
hardest part though, when you have to do those high emotional parts and then you have to be able to bring it right back down to go into that next scene. Because I've been in class sometime, acting class, and I've had to tap into an experience. I dealt with attempted rape and molestation as a child.
Mm,
I went through
okay.
molestation at the age of 4, and there was attempted rape when I was 18, and I had just come home from the hospital with my first child. But
Wow.
and I had to literally fight the guy off of me. And just so happened my mom and my sister pulled up in the middle of it happening.
Oh my God.
And this
Wow.
was somebody I looked at as an uncle, as a father, as
Mm-hmm.
never would have suspected it happening. So I was in acting class one night at Acting Out Studios, and I had to tap into that energy. And I was so deep into it that I couldn't come out of it. I had to walk
Yeah.
outside and catch my breath. Even when we
Mm.
were shooting Innocence Dies Young, there was the scene where my kids are racially profiled by the police. It's 4 of them in the car. My 2 youngest are killed by the police. And they were doing the hospital scene where my baby girl dies on the hospital bed. And in that scene, she had on this yellow jumper that my daughter actually had as a child. That, she had that same
Mm.
jumper. Her
Mm.
hair was like my daughter's hair. She reminds me of my daughter. So, in doing that scene and seeing this little girl dying on the bed, like the emotions that hit me, I could
Mhm.
not control it because when I go in, I go in. Anybody will tell you when they see me on set and I look like I'm just zoned out, it's because I'm
Mhm.
tapping in. And
Mhm.
I'll how you doing? And I'm right back into my center. I'm,
Focus.
I'm right
Yeah.
here because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany anymore. I'm my character. And
Mm.
they had to. Oh my God! I couldn't. I got lightheaded. I got dizzy. I couldn't stop
Wow.
crying. My chest was beating hard. Like I was really in the moment. And I
Mm,
couldn't. After the second tape, the director was like, "We can't take that scene anymore. We're good on that. I got everything I need from it." And when
Mhm.
they came and got me, everybody was crying. All the men, the cameramen, like
Wow.
everybody was crying. And one of the guys, he sounds like Tone Loc when he talks. He's like, "Yo, where did you go to get that?" And I was like, "I'm a mother." That's all I
Mhm.
had to say.
yeah.
I'm a mother. But they found me on the floor trying to catch my breath. I couldn't. I was in it.
Mm.
Wow.
It's kind of hard being on stage to have to be able to turn
Mhm.
that off and on.
Yeah.
So I guess you answered that well, and I know that's between it's just acting between stage plays and cinematic productions as well, film plays. I mean, uh, wow. How did you get into music, Mike? And when did you first started? Knowing that you was a songbird.
um, Believe it or not, as a child, being that my sister hated me, I used to sit and talk to my stuffed animals. So I used to just kind of sit to myself. And then in middle school, I called myself being in this little rap singing group called DDT, which was doing damage together. And
That's
I
cute.
was like the singer slash rapper. So when people hear me rap, it's like, who is this? I'm like, yeah, I've done all that stuff. But that's when I kind of really, really grabbed it. And as a child, when my mom would go to work, we would throw talent shows at our house with our friends, stuff like that, me and my sister. So that I kind of really realized, like, hold up, sis, you can really sing, you know. And we tried the different groups. I tried 3 different groups. And finally, there was an agency called New Era, owned by Donna Singleton. She took a liking to me, not the group. So I got picked up by her and I toured in the blues market, like I said, for about 2.5 years, doing backup for a few people. And a couple other situations I don't want to bring up that I was looking at as far as record deals, but I was not willing to go by their terms, in a light way
I
to
got
put
you.
it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And good for you for knowing that, because a lot of people, you know, they just kind of go for it and then they pay for it in the end, you know, for people that don't think about the
To make
longevity
that
of the
clear, I
decision.
don't sing from between my legs. Exactly.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I couldn't. I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mahogany,
I
go ahead,
now
John.
go ahead, Kim. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna
Now,
how you gonna tell me to go ahead and start talking? Go ahead, John, because I was gonna switch over to something else. Go ahead.
I was. Come on, we good. Q, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just got the
Sue, don't fight over me, you know.
I you know you're that special to us, Mahogany. I just got the 9 minute
Definitely.
mark, John. So in about 9 minutes, we're gonna cut for the second half. So
For the
Mahogany,
break.
yes. So Mahogany, one of the things that we mentioned in your bio is that you have a health and beauty line called Glamour Puss, right? Glamour Puss.
Gonna push you.
Glamour Puss
Yes.
You, sorry, Glamour Puss You. So talk a little bit about that, because as we can see, you are, well, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, make sure you
Oh, there you
subscribe
go.
to
There
the
you
YouTube
go. Come
channel,
on.
right? So you can see Mahogany, see her beautiful shirt and her beautiful face. And she is glamour walking. She is the epitome of glamour. So
Come
it's
on
not
now.
that hard to see how you got into health and beauty, but talk a little bit about that and kind of what inspired you and what exactly, you know, that line is.
First of all, my grandmother gave me the name Glamour Puss because people always ask me like Glamour Puss. I'm like, get your mind out the gutter. That's not, don't do that. You know, but my grandmother gave me that name. And I actually have a video where, I'm asking her because people didn't believe me. I'm like, why do you call me that? And she said, because you've always been my glamour baby. And I'm like, oh, like that's so sweet, Granny. But glamour puss, people always ask me when I do my makeup, who does your makeup, or what do you use on your skin? Any makeup artist that has ever worked on me always asks me about my skin. What do you use on your skin? So I'm like, you know what? Let me share the wealth. But my thing was, there are so many women out there who have an inner beauty that needs to be birthed.
Come
So
on
my
now.
products are not just for, making you look pretty. I want you to know and feel it that you are.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at you, boss
So
lady. That's that boss talk right there. That's that boss talk right there.
It is,
so
it
yeah.
is. And so what all does glamour puss you? I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
What all does glamour puss you consist of?
All my products are naturally made by me. So I mean, and I run a health and I'm sorry, a home health business as well. So it's like me at work taking orders, and then I gotta come home and I'm mixing and making and packing and shipping, and whoo, that one man show is something serious. But
Mm.
I love it. I love it though. But it's a there's a lip gloss line. I should have had one of my tubes to, but there's a lip gloss line. People think it's a perfume bottle, but it's lip gloss. There's my lip gloss line. There is lip scrubs. There's body scrubs. There's body butters, eyelashes. There's accessories. Every woman likes to be sexy now. So I do have the short, sexy silk kimonos. The kimonos are the silk robes, and you can either have just the logo on the pocket area of it, or you can choose your own phrase to go on the back. And it may be boss puss, it might be angry puss, it might be whatever you choose to put back there. But there's those. I have the onesies, the short ones and the long onesies that have the logo on those as well. Let's see, t-shirts. It's an array of things on the site, even the masks.
And we're gonna link the site. Again, we're gonna put the site, I can't get my words right.
Man,
I'm just hypnotized by all this beauty from Mahogany. We're going to put the link in the description for the podcast. And then we're also going to put the link to her site on the video on the YouTube channel, if that's okay with you.
You'll have to give me your address as well so I can send you some product, and I need to send you a Glamour Puss mask as well. I can't, John, I'm sorry, I can't let you wear Glamour Puss you on your face. Sorry. But I am working on a lip chap for the guys.
Okay.
There you go. And John likes his lips moisturized. So
yeah, so I've been told I had sexy lips, so
come on now.
Mahogany, we were just talking about the health and beauty line that you have, and you actually have something that you want to show us and talk about, one of your products.
What the lip gloss tube looks like. This is the actual lip gloss tube. Everybody thinks it's perfume, but it's not. It's the actual lip gloss. So and I'm gonna figure out a way where people can purchase the refillers, because I love my bottles and I don't want them to have to go to waste, and people love the bottles. So if they can just buy refills at maybe half price of what the gloss itself is. But they're cute, and you can put them on the keychains if you choose. But when it's packaged, you'll have my actual tag on it with my logo and contact information, little gold ribbon and everything. They're really, really cute.
They're so cute. And when I get mine, I will make sure I wear, because John knows I'm a lip gloss lipstick junkie. So I will make sure I wear it and post it and rave about it.
That's what made me make it, because I hate to have those that are super, super thick and your hair is constantly stuck on your lips.
Stuck to your lips.
I hate those. That one's not. It gives you a really nice natural glow. And it's not too shiny to look like you slid through a container of petroleum gel.
Okay, and the packaging is beautiful, so you can't have something called glamour, and with glamour in the name.
It's a gold envelope that it comes in too, so you feel like Charlie from Willy Wonka. You got the golden ticket,
right?
Look at you. Come on now.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
So as we continue on through your extensive journey and resume of the creative person that you are, one of the things that we mentioned earlier in the show is that you hosted a radio show for 4 years. And it was Miss Mo's Intimacy Box. And that's a long time, especially if you're not like a mainstream, radio host or station, like the big 4 or 5, however many we have in Atlanta. But to maintain that,
the syndicated shows, correct.
Thank you. I couldn't think of that. Yeah, the syndicated shows. So talk a little bit about how you kind of got that started, how you launched it, what the show is about, and if it's even still out there in case people are interested in digging it up and listening to it.
People have been trying to get me to bring it back. So I am bringing some of my characters from Intimacy Box back, which is Auntie Bertha is one of them. There's Savannah Simone, the Cuban sex therapist. And then there's Good Hair Becky, who has a hard Southern accent, and she's very bubbly, like just dorky. But believe it or not, acting got me into radio. I went for an audition for a comedy called Waiting to Inhale, and I got the part. So before I got ready to leave, the guy whose movie it was, Lalo Glenwood, who everybody knows, Low Vision TV, he's all over Instagram. He stopped me and he said, "Hey, you got a minute?" I was like, yeah, I'm clearly new to Atlanta. And I'm like, yeah, so he's like, can you stick around for a second? I want to talk to you. I'm like, okay, so he calls me back in and he says, I like the way that you present yourself and how you speak. Have you ever thought about doing radio? I was like, heck yeah. So he's like, okay, cool. You have 1 week. Put your show together.
Wow.
I'm like, you a joke, stop playing, whatever. He's like, no, seriously, you have 1 week. And I didn't want, if I do something, I do it completely 120%. I'm not going to have it. So I said, well, give me 2 weeks, because I wanted to put some time into this. And there was comedian Jay Renee. I had gone to one of her shows. We sat and talked briefly after the show, find out she's from Mobile. She and I had kept in contact with each other for about a year. So it was her, my youngest daughter, my cousin, and I brought them on as co-hosts on my show, and Tasha White. I brought them on as co-hosts on my show, and we had a good run. And then I ended up switching up ladies 2 times after that. But that's how I got into that show. He literally cast me for his movie and went straight into radio.
Wow.
Oh, okay. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was actually introduced to one of those characters.
Was it Auntie Bertha?
No,
Savannah?
yes, Savannah. We was at
Savannah, you met Savannah?
the Single
Oh,
Life
when I
premiere. You remember?
interviewed you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still got
That
it
was
on my
the
Instagram.
I interviewed Sean too, and that was the first time he heard me sing, and he's like, "Yo, wow, you can really sing." I'm like,
Exactly,
yeah."
Oh wow. How come I
But
exactly,
don't
yeah,
exactly.
remember this?
yeah.
Where
I
was
didn't know
I,
you met
John?
Savannah.
I
I don't think you were there that night.
no, Q was there
At the
because
Single Life premiere?
this the premiere of the Single Life.
Oh,
You remember,
Oh yeah, now I
you made me
remember
blush.
when we were on the on the red carpet. That's right.
Yeah, cause really I don't blush. I'm too cool to blush, but
He
you
couldn't
had
oh
me
even get his
blushing.
boy.
words out.
Yeah, I said, man,
Q, I
That
have
sounds
that
about
video.
right.
I have that video.
Please send it to me. Please. Please
I
send it.
have that
I
video.
must have
Yes.
been off somewhere. I must not have been around when that happened. Okay.
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
funny.
Wow.
She-
That particular character, Auntie Bertha, would always throw people off on my show. And then my questions for my guests, if it were guys, I would always, in a sexy tone voice, be like, Miss Mo and the ladies of Intimacy Box Talk Radio want to know how you like your box, and they'd be like, my box, you know. And
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, how you like your box? And for the girls, I'm like, girl, I can't be sexy with you, but Miss Mo and the girls want to know how you like your monkey bars. So they be like monkey bars.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
And see, you just gave
but
the
nah, that's
audience a little
beautiful.
snippet of that voice. You see, she does have a perfect radio voice.
She she has so many different characters. I
I
mean,
do.
it's crazy.
Growing up
Cause
alone did
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, it
with you
did
because
that.
even back on the first episode, I shared a little bit of my story growing up in Sparks, Georgia. Okay. Even
yeah,
though I have siblings, I was the only child in the house at the time, and I didn't have any friends. We were living I was in a country town with my dad and my grandma, and I used to talk to myself and my imaginary friends. And I told the story about how one day my dad caught me talking to myself, and he said, "Don't do that because people think you're crazy." But it
Hmm.
helped to launch me as a writer because I just
I'm
took those
telling you.
characters. Look at Johnny.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
we all did. We all did. My
yeah.
favorite TV show to watch was National Geographic. People, I mean, I used to just wonder, like, I see animals, and then this thing I know, I'm crawling on the floor, acting like I'm an elephant, climbing up the walls. I'm talking about making noises,
Oh wow.
and then see when you have a stepdad, your stepdad gonna roast you. He'll, I mean,
Oh my
he'll say
God.
something. He said, see, look at him. That was wrong with him right there. Like, okay, I gotta
I mean, I
stop
don't
doing
know,
that.
John. If I saw you trying to climb the wall, I'd probably think something's wrong with you too.
Yeah, I was little, big head, and I was skinny. Super
Oh
skinny with a big
wow.
head, running around with some underwear on, running through the
I
house.
was
It's
just
ridiculous.
quiet and extremely shy. I
Hmm.
stayed under my mom. Even the day I graduated from high school, I was at home with my mom.
Oh
You,
wow, you didn't go out and
Mahogany,
celebrate?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Nope.
I don't get shy from you though.
Nobody does. Nobody does. And I
Hmm.
guess it's because I have so much that I want to share with the world. And, people always ask, when you leave this world, what do you want to be known for or
Mm.
remembered as? And I
Mm.
want to make sure that I leave my mark on the world.
Mm. That's
Can,
good.
let me ask you a quick question? Just by like personality wise, would you say that you are a extro introvert? Like, what I'm saying, like, do you these characters you portray, do you kind of like act as these characters, but deep down inside you kind of like just more self-reserved into yourself, like an introvert?
Yeah, definitely. My
I can
characters
relate.
allow me,
Hmm.
and like I always say, when people say, "Well, we want to meet Auntie Bertha," I'm like, "Listen, Bertha will say stuff that I would never say." Okay, so I can't
Yeah.
control her. So Bertha
Yeah,
allows me to get away with a lot of stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
That's
definitely.
beautiful.
Cool. So let's talk about your entertainment company, Mr. 22
My
Entertainment.
baby.
So before we get into what exactly the entertainment company is and what it does, where did the name come from?
The MR22.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. 22, the MR22 is definitely my initials, Mahogany Raspberry, and the two, my sacred number, two. Everything happens in two, so why not double the two? And the reason I went with Mr. 22 is because a lot of times, as women in the entertainment industry or whatever, it could be at work or whatever it is, they don't take us serious as women. So when they see Mr., it's like, oh, must be a guy, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You get me. You get me. All of me.
Well,
So yeah, that's how I did that.
when you
So
came out
true.
with Mr. 22, I seen that intro, and that's a pretty dope intro.
The intro
So
is
Thank
dope.
you.
It's
yeah,
dope.
Thank
so
I
you.
think I watched it like twice because you know how on Instagram it loops, it keeps playing. And
Sister, my sister, sorry about that.
oh, it's okay. At least it was just your name that came up and not nothing crazy. It just showed us your
Yes,
name.
yes.
um, but
But
okay, so
my editor actually and my business partner John West Jr. of JW Films, he and the editor got together and talked, and nobody knew that purple was my favorite color or anything. God, dog nabbit, sis, you gotta wait. Um, nobody knew that purple was my favorite color or anything like that, but he just kept saying, "I'm working on something for you. I'm working on something for you." And when they showed it to me, I was speechless. I had no words and I just broke down in tears because I'm
wow.
like, everything about my logo is definitely me. It's bedazzled, it's sparkling, it's purple, and then how it burns into this gold. The way it burns into that gold is just like at the end of the day, you can burn through me and I'm still here, solidly standing. So that's why I was like, everything about my logo is me. I absolutely love it.
That's beautiful.
nice, nice.
Well, Mike, we want to ask you a couple of questions. Is it any current projects that you're working on now that you want to share with us? And also, is it any projects coming through your production company that you might want to share with us? Or have you had anything coming down the pipeline?
There are several. There are several. Whew, there's a lot. One that I did film actually, and the the guy took off with my footage. I'm going to Rebirth, which is the caregiver. I have a home health staffing agency, and it's called M&M Angel Care. And I wanted to write a film.
Hold on. So you say you own home care staffing agency?
Yes,
So not only are you an actor, a musician, stage play actress, you do so many things, and you own your own business, and you have a fashion line as well too.
yeah.
He's like,
When
yeah.
you yeah, I'm only asking. So like, so is Mahogany Raspberry, but what's your superhero name when you put your cape on? What's her name?
Mr. 22. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, I do. I have a staffing
Beautiful.
agency to M&M Angel Care, and it what made me do that is I try to um, educate people on keeping mom and dad or grandma, granddad at home versus these facilities. I have seen some horrific things in these facilities. So I
Mm,
try to just really educate people on keeping their family members at home, and I try to make it make sense financially for them to keep mom or dad at home.
That's beautiful.
that is really beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
Somebody took their time with you.
His name is God.
That's what I'm saying. Hey,
better get to know
most
them.
definitely, most
Yeah, his
definitely.
name is God.
God took his time with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
okay, so
to answer your question,
yeah.
the caregiver, I wanted to write a film where it showed through the caregiver's eyes or nurses or
Hmm.
whomever what we really experience in those shoes. Because although you hire me to take care of mom and dad or mom or
Hmm.
dad, we really become therapists and caregivers for the entire family, because we have to educate you on how to take care of mom or dad properly. We have to be a shoulder for you to lean on, a support system for you when mom or dad is transitioning to the other side or starting to decline more and things like that. So we're not just there just for their well-being, we're there for an entire family. And I
Most
wanted
Yeah.
definitely.
people to be able to see through the caregiver's eyes what we really go through. And that's what made me write The Caregiver.
Nice. Now, is
Wow.
that a film or is it a series or?
I A lot of my so what happened, what got me more into writing was I felt that, and this is not to discredit anybody's work that I've been a part of because I'm so grateful, but I felt that some of the productions that I've been on have not allowed me to really show the diversity of my gift. So I started to write my own monologues, which developed into shorts, which developed into films. So the caregiver I'm actually going to do in a series.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, like I said at the beginning, we've noticed a lot of actors are making that shift for that reason. Well, for the main two reasons. One is the auditioning process and being told no, because anybody who decides to be an actor, you have to be comfortable with being
Yeah.
told no, because you hear no more than you hear yes.
Well,
Um,
they always tell you you'll get 10 no's before you get your one yes.
Yep, there you go. And, so being told no, but then also, like you just said, not getting the opportunity or having the project to show, the versatility of your talents and of your gift, like you're not a monolith, how some people get typecast
Right.
or, because they may do great at comedy and then producers or writers or directors only want to keep them in that comedic box. And then a lot of times it's hard, especially for us as minorities, to be able to expand because a lot of people try to keep us in the box, a certain box of playing certain types
Right.
of characters. Yeah.
And
Well,
and
that's
speak.
just like being on a job. You have all of the qualifications for the position, but because you don't have the experience, they won't give it to you. So that's why I started writing my own stuff.
And
Mm-hmm.
also speaking about being in the box, it's kind of like it doesn't help, being a beautiful black woman as well too, because a lot of times, sometimes people get misconstrued by just a person outer appearance, and they only want to typecast them for like a certain role, more
Yes,
a
I have gone through that so
seducing
much.
or romantic,
Mm-hmm.
something just like that, or like a sexy role instead of saying like showcasing their dynamic range.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that, Mahogany, what advice would you give? Because you brought up a good point earlier too, a familiar point that even I've dealt with of, a lot of times men, including John when he first met me, not taking us
Oh
women
yeah,
serious.
I sure did. Q came in with that little backpack, looked like she was about 16 years old. This guy gave this phenomenal speech. He was like, "Yeah, I got a new phenomenal up and coming director, a young lady, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. This." I'm looking around like whatever like that, and I thought this was his daughter came in. She had a little book bag on and
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Man, Q came with them, man. If I had my bags with me, my bags were already in the car. I would start packing my stuff up. Like, man, we're gonna get up out of here real quick. But no,
Yeah.
but it did teach me because she was young, but it taught me like I opened my mind, like I just had it inside my head, but once I met her, like
Mm-hmm.
she was phenomenal, like
Yeah.
great person, beautiful spirit, very intelligent, very creative, and she have a perseverance of like that drive to just keep going on, and she do it with so much grace, where it's not rough and
I
tenacious or
agree.
nothing like that, just move
Thank
like,
you.
and she just positive and keep it going. So she keep me
I
calm through the
agree.
through these rough little
Thank
storms. You
you.
know what I'm saying? I be ready to, turn up on folk, but Q keep me grounded. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank you for that. So with all of that being said, Mahogany, what advice would you give to women out there, especially Black women, beautiful women, who may not be taken serious, but they want to launch their own business,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the field is, because like you said, it's any job, not necessarily just acting or entertainment industry. But what advice would you give to women who are looking to launch their own business, who want to be taken serious?
To first securely believe in yourself. If you don't believe in you, why should I? If you
Mm-hmm.
won't fight for you, why should I? And no matter what, push through. They put those barricades up there. You figure out a way to either bust through them or go around them. Let nothing hold you back because at the end of the day, you only have you to hold you back.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
True, true,
Boss lady.
true.
Know what I'm talking about. Come on now. Come on now. And then, hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's amazing though. And that's some good advice for the young ladies. Cause even just being in the industry for a long time, I have seen a lot of things, and I have worked with a lot of men, and it's unfortunate that often happens, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I just want her for this role. No, it gotta be sexy, you know, sex sales or this, or that, you know, it's not
I've gone
really,
through that too. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not really allowing the person to just, you know, like to listen to your actors and actresses and everything, just kind of make it more of an organic product, you know, when you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
very true.
Mahogany, so we, of course, at the time of this recording, which this episode will probably air, in the next 2 weeks or so, but there's obviously a lot going on in the world. We thought 2020 was something, but 2021 is kind of starting
Yeah.
off to be something as well. What are some things that you personally do to keep yourself motivated and inspired, because you do have so many ventures that you have going on? So what do you personally do to keep yourself pushing through and keep to just, how do you keep going with everything that's going on in the world?
Um, my fuel to my engine, for one, is my children. I like to call them my chadotes because my children are grown. So they're my
Mm-hmm.
children, but they're adults, my chadotes. But definitely my children, first of all. That is definitely the fuel to my engine, because if they see me give up, I'm giving them ammunition to give up. So I refuse to quit. But affirmations of life, they work. You have to, people say talking to yourself is crazy. No, get in that mirror, look yourself in the face firmly and say you can. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to convince yourself first that you can. Once you get that downloaded completely, you can conquer the world. I don't care what nobody says to you. You can conquer the world. But affirmations of life, and just really something else that people don't really believe in, putting things into the universe and protecting your energy. There are some
Mm-hmm.
energy vampires out here, and there are a lot of people who will when a person shows you their true face, you need to see it.
Yeah.
Protect your circle, protect your energy from these people, because people will portray to be a part of your circle and be a part of what you have going on because they want the perks of what you have going on. I had a very
Yes.
close friend at one point who literally looked me in my face and she said, I got an idea. Hear me out. I got this idea. This is what we gonna do. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking like, oh, we on to something. Like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
what you got? And she said, since you're already packaged and ready to go, we're these quote unquote, we are going to promote you. And when you get through the door, you pull me through. That's not how this works.
That was the plan.
That's not how this works. Right. Now, and like I explained to that person, I can't cash your checks. I
Come on
can't
now.
book a role for you. Now I can help you. I can pour into you. I can teach you. I can help guide you. I'll even go as far as give me your headshot, your resumes, and if I see something that I'm submitting myself for, I'll submit you too. Or if I see something and it doesn't fit me and it fit you, I'll submit for you too. I'll go as far as to do that. And I feel like a lot of us actors and actresses should be in a circle. Whereas if I come across something that doesn't fit me, but it fits Q
Mm-hmm.
or it fits John, let me submit them. We
Mm-hmm.
should be able to do that. Or let me send it to them. We should be able to do that. But everybody, us, we always
Come
have to
on now.
look at each other as
Mm-hmm.
competition when there's not competition. It's enough out here for everybody.
Yeah.
And people need to get back to the mentality of taking care of villages, not just
Mm-hmm.
home.
Yes,
you
Mm-hmm.
know
yes.
so I try to I really try to protect my energy, and I have a waterfall in my bedroom. So that's my zen moment. I turn on
Yeah.
my waterfall, I light my candles, I turn on my jazz. I'm a wine connoisseur. I sip my wine and I chill. Oh, and I smoke my hookah. Yeah, I smoke hookah on a regular. Love it. But I have my moment to myself to just detox on energies and stress of the world, because that
Mm-hmm.
stuff can get heavy, not just of
Yes.
life, of the world. That stuff can
Mm-hmm.
get heavy. Sometimes you got to step back from social media for a few days. Sometimes you got to step back from the news media for a few days, because if you watch all of that stuff and you listen to it all the time, it's depressing and it will bring you down with it. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to detox on things of the world and of life, but also exude and put out what you want, because what you put out is what you get back in return.
Most definitely.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
Mahogany, you really,
Don't
you
give me the
really,
preaching.
I'm
come on
like,
now. Hey, hey, cause you really hitting some keynotes, and I like the fact that you use the term energy vampires, because people will suck your energy completely dry. They would take something where you're so you have so much enthusiasm and you have so much energy and you feel so much passion about something that you want to just see come into existence. You want to see it manifest, and then a person have a malicious intent for some odd reason and want to see it, go the opposite way.
And sometimes all it takes is that negative comment, that one comment. If you share your idea with the wrong person and they may make that one negative comment that could shut you down completely. Like, oh, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I don't need to do this.
Okay, Mahogany, what advice would you give for young actors and actresses getting into the film industry as far as having a sense of discernment for certain projects they should or should not work on, due to as far as like entry level positions? And also, the next question is, you having your own production company. We were talking about energy vampires and certain people. You starting your own production company as a small production company starting off. How is it being cautious about sharing your ideas as far as, to get help as people coming together and as a team?
For the first question, as far as new beginners coming into the game, I think that first of all, you need to decide what type of actor or actress that you want to be. As far as like, you may have those who want to be action, you may have those who want to be strictly horror, you may have those who like to do emotional stuff, but find what category best fits you. Because me, I don't like to limit myself. I'm gonna try to dive into every pool I can get into. I'm not doing no porn. Now, let me say that. But but I'm gonna try to tap into all of it. And I know my limitations when doing these things, and I need them to not be afraid to be able to speak out and say thank you for the opportunity, but this is not a fit for me.
Okay, I got you.
As far as my company goes, the type of atmosphere I'm trying to create for Mr. 22 is, I want people to be able to take something away from my projects. I want people to be able to say, well, that character, I'll just use Nikki. That character, Miss Nikki, was in this situation and she was able to get out of it. I can too. Or that character, John, was able to conquer this situation and I should be able to do that too. I want people to be able to take something from my films and be able to apply it to their everyday life to make them better. There was one other thing that was in there.
And the other thing was, as far as like sharing ideas, having an independent company, how is it kind of being iffy to share your ideas? Because I know we're all trying to grow and elevate our creativity.
The power of the pen and paperwork is very powerful, strong. And I don't move without it. If I'm going to sit and discuss something with you, there's this thing called NDA. I put it to
yes,
work.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I put it to work. And I'm very skeptical of sharing stuff with people, down to titles. I'm very skeptical of sharing certain things with people, because once you put it out there, there ain't no getting it back. And people will take it and maybe tweak a line. Oh, I wrote that song. Tweak a title. Oh, I wrote that, So I'm very skeptical about who I share things with and who I bring in to potential projects that I'm creating.
And just a reminder, beautiful. You cannot copyright an idea. You got to have that paper. You got to have that paperwork.
Come on, Q.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Mahogany. Oh, go ahead, John.
I love y'all too.
Q been cutting me off all day today. Jokes.
That's because John made me some more spaghetti. For those of you who follow us on Instagram, you've seen the Instagram video.
Man, that spaghetti was bussin'. You gotta watch the video. Watch it on IGTV. And then I did a vegetarian spaghetti too, Mike. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Respectful.
I got you on the. I got another thing on the dish too. I'm gonna have to let you know when we do that. Okay. But I wanted to tell you, we really appreciate you, and you really hit some good gems, because of course, some of the information me and Q we know, but we wanted to share this with our listeners and our audience, because a lot of people do not know that. They just give an idea, tell it, and you're so enthused, and just that innocent energy, like that innocent creative energy, like, oh, I got this idea, I want to do this.
I've seen it happen so many times.
Come on now.
So
we do. We appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
But
I
also
mean, I
just to
have
wrap,
projects right now that I have promo material for. And what I like to do, a lot of beginners too, I wanted to put that out there. What I like to do when people are looking for distribution and getting with these networks, there's no need in shooting the full project. Shoot you a trailer and get all of
Mm.
your synopsis, your one sheets, and all of that in together. Because once that network grabs it, a lot of times, excuse me, they want to recast it, reshoot it.
Mm-hmm.
So your money was a waste. Or
Yeah.
they
you're
say,
right.
well, let's take this character and put this character over here, and then we'll add in a new character with this scene right here, and let's twist this mystery on that end. So you've lost your money. So shoot a trailer. You can literally, your trailer can tell your entire movie. Shoot a very
Mm-hmm.
powerful trailer and promote it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. I have a lot of people that, somebody just today, I want to put your stuff on my network. I want to do. Well, listen, let's talk commercial, because I can give you that. I have trailers. I don't shoot full projects. Now, if you want to post my trailers as commercials, now we can talk.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There you
We
go. That's
appreciate it.
good. That's good information. Because even with, for those who may have projects that are completed, for example, how we
Mm-hmm.
have A Time for Love, which is a feature film we did. And I remember I was in talks of some distribution. And you're right, Mahogany, because they were like, okay, well, you got to reshoot the movie poster and we got to adjust this and let's edit this to make this. And so, if you're not ready to do all of that, and depending on what your budget is, that's a very smart move. And even with the series, if you want to do a full series, just do the pilot episode. Just
Mm-hmm.
try doing the pilot episode. So
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany, like John said, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight. Thank you for being so
Thank
open
y'all.
and sharing your story. We know it's going to touch some people. So can you let everybody know how they can follow you, how they can stay in touch with you, and maybe even reach out to you?
Underscore Glamourpuss on IG. I do have a Facebook. Really, you can just type in Mahogany Raspberry. You can find me anywhere. Mahogany Raspberry. As far as the health and beauty lines, it is Glamourpuss Inc., and that's with two C's on IG. Or you can go to www.glamourpussu.com.
Wow.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. So I feel I'm
And if y'all know
hungry.
anybody, not to cut you off, if y'all know
Mhm.
anybody that needs some home health assistance, please, by all means, M&M Angel Care. They can look me up anywhere. M&M Angel Care, and that phone number is 404-573-3247.
All right. And we'll make sure we have that on the screen and in the description box of the podcast. I was going to say I'm hungry, but I'm also full because I'm hungry physically, but I'm full on the information. Okay. And the inspiration because that was
Was there?
good.
Yes.
Mahogany, it was our pleasure having such a beautiful person inside and out on the show.
Yeah.
And you dropped a lot of informative jewels for people and just inspiring people, because sometimes you like putting a person in a box and they can't do that with you. You do so many things.
Guys, this has been another episode of the Elevated Creativity Podcast. Again, we thank Ms. Mahogany Raspberry for joining us today. Make sure you follow me and John on all available platforms, and we will catch you guys next time.